Today we're going to show you how time and temperature work together, sometimes against each other, depending on who's in control. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put a pan on our stove at the lowest flame and leave it there for a minute, and as you can see, it's about 112 degrees. Now we're going to wait about 5 minutes, and we're going to take the temperature again. What is it? 156 degrees. So in a few minutes, it went up 50 degrees, 40 degrees. Now it's time to take it again after 10 minutes. And it's 170 degrees, so it hasn't gone up that much. So we've kind of found our level working place. Now we're going to put the meat in. Let's see what a cold piece of meat does to that hot pan in terms of changing its temperature. Not much, a few degrees, but that's about it. And now we're going to leave it in there for about 8 minutes. And then we're going to turn it over, and we'll see if the other side has any influence on the temperature of the pan. As soon as I figure out where it is. There you go. No, none whatsoever. So we're going to leave that on there. We left the first one on for about 8 minutes. We're going to leave this one on for 6. While you were gone, I put on some cheese, and we're going to take the temperature one more time. So we've pretty much stayed at 172 degrees, but don't forget, this is the lowest setting on my stove. And once we're done, we want to hit that 130 degrees, and we did. We hit it 130 degrees. Those things are fairly accurate, but you got to be careful where you put them, because 130 degrees is absolutely perfect for medium rare, which is the way we like it.
Okay, let's review. The two things that are important in cooking, time and temperature. They are inversely proportional. You move up the time, you move down the temperature. You move up the temperature, you move down the time. It's that simple. Of course, it's not that simple. We know it's not that simple because the first thing you have to do is decide what your end result is. What do you want to accomplish? And that's usually getting your food to a certain temperature. Now, in the case of our burger, I wanted my temperature at about 130 degrees. Now, we saw that in the beginning, that pan heated up rather slowly, but once it got going, it retained its heat, which meant that when you turn it over, you're going to cook it on the second side for less time than you did the first time. Now, the first time we did it for 8 minutes, and the second time we did it for 6. The reason being that the hamburger was already partially cooked. So we don't want to continue to cook it in the same manner. So we're going to cook it for less time, but we did not change the heat source. And the important thing to remember here is when you're cooking at very low heat, you have a much bigger leeway in which to make mistakes. And let me tell you, making mistakes is what you try to avoid, but you make them anyway. The most important thing is to learn by them.